Good evening, everyone. A very lovely good evening to all of you. Today, I will be discussing about glycolysis. Now, first of all, before starting up with this, let me give you a brief introduction. Glycolysis is actually a very important topic from carbohydrate metabolism. This is the ultimate pathway of degradation of glucose. And it has, all of you know that glucose has 6 carbon atoms. Now, if you look at the word itself, glycolysis, which means glyco plus lysis, which means breakdown of a carbohydrate. All of us know that lysis means breakdown of what? Of a carbohydrate. Now, it is also known as EMP pathway, as it was discovered by 3 scientists, Embedon, Meyerhoff, and Pranas. That is why EMP. Now, first of all, what we will be discussing in this video is, we will be studying the pathway. And in the pathway, I'll just tell you what is the site where this glycolysis occurs. What is the importance of this pathway? And what is the energetics involved in this? Now, once we will finish it up with the pathway, after that, we will be discussing about the regulation part, the most important part, how the above pathway is regulated, in a sense that what role different hormones have to play in regulating it. Right? So let's start up with this. First of all, site. Glycolysis occurs in the cytoplasm. And if we have to define glycolysis, it is simple, incomplete breakdown of glucose, which has 6 carbon atoms, to form pyruvic acid, which has 3 carbon atoms. So it is not complete breakdown. It is simple. 1 molecule of glucose, which has 6 carbon atoms, it splits up to form 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, which has 3 carbon atoms. And where it occurs? It occurs in the cytosol. Then what is the importance? Now, if we look at the importance, the most important feature of this is that RBCs derive their energy from glycolysis. Because RBCs, whether it is the fed state, whether it is the fasting stage, or whether it is starvation, in all the 3 stages, they have to depend on glucose, which is being degraded by glycolysis. So this is the importance. Then we will be discussing the energetics once we finish up with this pathway along with the regulation. Now, let's start up with the discussion of this. Now see, in glycolysis, there are 3 phases. One is energy investment phase. Obviously, we are investing energy. Second is splitting phase. in which a molecule splits up. And third is the most important phase. Whatever energy is invested during the first phase, it is generated back. So it is energy generation phase. And always remember, glycolysis occurs in the well-fed state. And it is a catabolic process. Always remember, whenever we talk about catabolism, energy will be given out. Energy is given. Right? And it has 3 irreversible steps. The importance of these irreversible steps is actually explained when gluconeogenesis takes place. Because just now I told you glycolysis occurs in well-fed state, gluconeogenesis occurs in starved state. So the 3 irreversible steps of glycolysis are made reversible in case of gluconeogenesis. So first of all, we are going to take up energy investment phase. After that, the splitting phase, followed by energy generation phase. Now what happens is, always remember that glucose, whenever it enters inside the cell, it has to be phosphorylated. Why? Because it cannot enter in the circulation again. Now phosphorylation is there, so you can say phosphorylation is by 1-phosphate is given by ATP, which is converted into ADP. The enzyme is hexokinase and glucokinase. I'll tell you the difference between hexokinase and glucokinase once we finish up with the energy investment phase. Now, and magnesium ions are required for this. It acts as a cofactor for hexokinase. Now, once glucose 6-phosphate is produced, it by isomerization forms fructose 6-phosphate. The enzyme is simple, phosphohexose isomerase. Phosphohexose isomerase. Next step is, when this fructose 6-phosphate is produced, it undergoes another reaction in which again phosphorylation is there, forming fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. Again, there is involvement of ATP because it is giving it inorganic phosphate. And here the enzyme is phosphofructokinase, also known as PFK. Now here a very important reaction takes place. This phosphofructokinase is 1, or I can say it is PFK1. On the other hand, one more reaction is there. This is a bifunctional enzyme. Bifunctional enzyme means it has 2 sides. If it is PFK1, fructose 1,6-bisphosphate is produced. And if it is PFK2, the product is fructose 2,6-bisphosphate. Right? Now, what is the difference? Here, what happens is, this is the first step. This is the third step. So here you can say first and third step are irreversible. Rest of these steps, if I talk about this step, this is a reversible step. Right? And this is also a reversible step in a sense that it can be converted into this in the presence of enzyme fructose 2,6-bisphosphatase. So here the energy investment phase ends. This is energy investment phase. And you can see two molecules of ATP are invested in this reaction. As you can see, one ATP here and one ATP here. After this, we can say that first phase finishes and the second phase starts, in which splitting occurs. And this fructose 1,6-bisphosphate splits up. And the enzyme is simple lyase, which is aldolase A. Aldolase has three forms, aldolase A, B, and C, which we will be discussing in my other videos. But here the principal enzyme is aldolase A, and it splits up to form 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Acetone phosphate. And these are linked as isomers with respect to one another, and the enzyme here is triose phosphate isomerase. Right? So here you can say splitting phase is there. This is splitting. Now, whatever energy is invested during first phase, that has to be generated back. And that is what is the purpose of this pathway. That energy has to be given out since it is a catabolic process. So what happens is this, now see, energy generation phase is there. And you can see, since they are linked as isomers, whatever is the fate of this will be the fate of this. Right? So this 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde will undergo oxidation, forming, this is the first aerobic reaction in which it forms 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid. And since it is an aerobic phase, you can say oxidation is there. So NAD will be involved. And the name of the enzyme will be simple, dehydrogenase. And this reaction is also reversible. Now, when 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid is produced, we have to now generate ATP. So what happens here is this gives 1-phosphate to ATP, forming 3-phosphoglyceric acid. And the reaction is this. You can say ATP is being produced from this. And the enzyme here is glycerate kinase, because there is attachment of one inorganic phosphate. So it forms 3-PGA. Now what happens is this reaction plays a very, very important role, in a sense that this reaction is an example of substrate level phosphorylation. Why it is substrate level phosphorylation? Because inorganic phosphate is given at the expense of the substrate. As you can see, the inorganic phosphate is donated by this substrate, forming 3-phosphoglyceric acid. That is why it is substrate level phosphorylation, or it is SLP. This is the first reaction of glycolysis, which is an example of this. Now, once this 3-phosphoglycerol, or you can say, from here we can say 2 ATP will be produced. 1 ATP from here, 1 ATP from here, since they are linked as isomers. Just now I told you. Now, this 3-phosphoglyceric acid will undergo simple shift, and it will be converted into 2-PGA. This is 3-PGA, this is 2-PGA. And the enzyme is simple mutase. Right? Now, once this 2-PGA is produced, it will undergo dehydration. Means it gives out a molecule of water, forming phosphoenol pyruvic acid. Phosphoenol pyruvate. And once this PEP is produced, the last step is conversion of this PEP to pyruvic acid. And here what happens is, again, there is formation of ATP from here. So you can say 2 ATP are again produced from here. And this is again an example of substrate level phosphorylation. And this is the third irreversible step. I'll just write it here, third irreversible step. All the steps are reversible. So we can say pyruvic acid has what? It has 3 carbon atoms. So if I have to summarize glycolysis, I can summarize it in a way that it has 3 irreversible reactions. First reaction is conversion of glucose to glucose 6-phosphate in the presence of enzyme hexokinase and glucokinase. This is first irreversible reaction. Second irreversible reaction is conversion of fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. Here the enzyme is phosphofructokinase. And last is conversion of PEP to pyruvic acid, where the enzyme is pyruvate kinase. Here there is involvement of ATP to form ADP. Here it is formation of ATP from ATP or from the substrate. And here again there is involvement of ATP. So these are the 3 irreversible steps. And always remember, the irreversible steps becomes the regulatory ones also. So these are the regulatory ones. Now, first of all, we'll take first reaction, which is hexokinase and glucokinase. So there is a difference between these two enzymes. Now, what is the difference? First is hexokinase is present in all the tissues. Glucokinase is present only and only in the liver. Hexokinase has low Km. Glucokinase has high Km. So obviously, you know, Km is inversely proportional to the affinity of the enzyme with the substrate. So if I say hexokinase has low Km, it has more affinity. That is why it can act on glucose when the concentration of glucose is 0.0001 also. Whereas glucokinase has lesser affinity for glucose and it is operative only when the concentration of glucose exceeds 100 milligram per dl. And that is why we say no action of insulin here, whereas insulin acts on glucokinase. And Glucokinase does not undergo allosteric inhibition. Means if the concentration of glucose 6-phosphate increases, it inhibits hexokinase and not glucokinase. That is why it is a regulatory step. Second, we come over to the second step, PFK. This is the rate committed step of glycolysis. Why? Because when fructose 6-phosphate enters, it is bound to undergo phosphorylation, forming fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. And if we talk about regulation, it is inhibited by ATP, inhibited by citrate, but activated by AMP. So ATP and citrate are the allosteric inhibitors, and AMP is an allosteric modulator of this reaction. And then we come over to the last one. This is simple rate limiting. Increased concentration of pyruvic acid will inhibit its own synthesis. This is simple allosteric inhibition. Right? So here we finish up with the regulatory part. I hope the regulation is clear to all of you. After this, we come over to the most important part, that is energetics. Energetics. Now, whenever we have to evaluate the energetics, we have to obviously act on ATP. So यहाँ पे I'll write the reactions, and here ATP consumed, and here ATP generated. Right? Like this. And if we talk about aerobic mode, we can write NAD also, because here we will be considering aerobic means oxidation. So first reaction is glucose to glucose 6-phosphate. ATP consumed is 1. Fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate consumed is 1. Right? If we talk about generation में 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid is forming 3-phosphoglyceric acid, where the number of ATP generated is 2. And the last reaction in which PEP is converted to pyruvic acid. Again, the number of ATP consumed is 2. So, number of ATP generated 4, ATP consumed 2. Right? And there is one reaction in which NAD is produced, that is in which 3-PGA is converted into 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid. So NAD there are produced are 2. And you know, one molecule of NAD on hydrolysis gives 1.5, so it will be 2 into 2.5. One NAD gives, I'll write it here, one NAD gives 2.5 ATP. So 2 into 2.5, it will give 5. Now see, one is aerobic mode and another is anaerobic mode. So if we consider anaerobic mode, it is 5 plus 4 minus 2. And if we consider anaerobic mode, it is 4 minus 2. So if we calculate the number of ATP by aerobic mode of oxidation, 5 plus 4 plus 9 minus 2, it gives 7 ATP. And if we take in consideration anaerobic mode, it is 2 ATP. And that is what exactly happens, that one molecule of glucose having 6 carbon atoms on incomplete oxidation gives 7 ATP molecules via aerobic mode and 2 ATP via anaerobic mode. Right? This is all about the site, importance, and energetics of glycolysis, which is very, very important. So let's quickly go on the first slide, what I told you. 3 phases, as you saw, energy investment phase, where first and third reactions, where 2 reactions were irreversible. And then energy generation, 1 reaction was irreversible. So overall, there were 3 reactions which are irreversible. It occurs in well-fed state. It is a catabolic process. And this is the pathway: energy investment, energy generation, followed by splitting phase. Now, if we talk about the regulation on the level of hormones, always remember insulin promotes glycolysis. Always remember, even though it is a anabolic hormone, this is the only catabolic process which is accelerated by insulin. Only catabolic process. And glucagon, on the other hand, inhibits glycolysis. And it accelerates gluconeogenesis, in other words. So this is the role of hormones in glycolysis. I will be uploading a detailed video on how insulin and glucagon acts on glycolysis when I will be discussing the regulation of blood glucose. Right? So this is all about glycolysis. Now, one more thing which I just want to tell you people is regarding the inhibitors. Always remember here, the enzyme is enolase, and fluoride ions are the inhibitors of enolase. This is very, very important. Fluoride inhibits enolase in a sense that whenever we have to estimate blood sugar, with an anticoagulant, we immediately add sodium fluoride also. Why? Because it will inhibit glycolysis there and then. So this is very important. And then arsenite is an inhibitor of this. So these are some of the inhibitors. And this is all about glycolysis, which is actually a catabolic process occurring in the cytoplasm and which plays a very, very important role in RBCs. In my other videos, I will be discussing what is the basic difference between a fed state, a fasting stage, and a starvation stage. So I hope this is clear to all of you. Have a good day.